What's going on? I'm Waylon Fox. I play the bass in Heartsick.
My name's Jared, and in Heartsick I play guitar.
My name's Nico. I'm the drummer at Heartsick. What's up, everybody? I'm Alfonso. I am the singer of Heartsick. Fun times.
When the razor blade dawned rushing out at me, I was addicted to love, but you were beating on me. Shameless and blameless as you can be. Don't ever miss your bloody heart in me. I used to think that we were hopeless romantics, but now I know that it was never meant to happen. I used to think that I was ready for love, but now I know that I was stupid as fuck.
So I was born in Lansing, Michigan, January '82. Yeah, I'm a little old, 33, whatever, at the time of this taping. But yeah, so I was born in the States. My entire family's from Canada. So I got dual citizenship in Canada and the States. Love both countries. North America, man. What the shit?
Born in Lansing, Michigan, and my dad was attending Michigan State University, and when he graduated I was about 3 or 4 years old. We moved up to a resort town on the lake named Ludington. That's where I attended kindergarten through the end of high school, and after that I went off to Michigan State University, and basically that was a year later we started this band. 15 years after that, here we are.
I was born in Lansing, Michigan, and I grew up there. And my family is all from the mid-Michigan area, so I'm definitely a mid-Michigan native. I'm very proud of it. I grew up with music. Something that I'll always remember was when I think I was about 5 years old. My mother took me to Mexico, and she was studying there. She was studying various forms of folkloric dance, and she took me to numerous cultural events and music performances by professionals, and it was just a really amazing experience. So I draw a lot of my influences from those types of cultural experiences. I was very lucky to have a musical family. So I was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I was actually not born in the United States, but little history, whatever. If you're born out of the United States, but you're born in like Puerto Rico, you're a citizen. So I was born in Puerto Rico. I was born in 1981, and my family migrated to the United States sometime after. I traveled around a lot. My dad was in the Army. He was a first lieutenant, and so I was kind of like an Army brat for a little bit, so kind of traveling. I lived in Germany and New Jersey and Texas and all these other weird, crazy places. So traveling is something that I've always done, so I think that's something that kind of makes me love playing music and being in a band. So yeah, I mean, from then I was born in Puerto Rico. I traveled a lot, and I ended up in Miami, Florida. That's where I consider my home. I moved to Miami when I was about 5 years old, 5 or 6, and I grew up in Miami from when I was 6 years old. I went to high school, middle school, elementary school in Miami. So I was 17, graduated high school, and decided that I didn't want to live in the ghetto anymore, in the hood, even though I love all my friends. But where I grew up was not like the greatest place in the world. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like, it wasn't like people getting shot up and stuff. But I mean, it was, you couldn't leave your car unlocked or anything like that. I mean, I remember my uncle came to visit us. He rented a car. The next morning, the car was gone. So that was the neighborhood that we lived in. So it was one of those things where I felt like there was more outside of the world, especially with traveling a lot. So I graduated high school when I was 17, and I moved up to Michigan and came up here and I started school. I went to Michigan State University, go Spartans, go Green, and that is where I met the band. I met Nick, and I met Jared, and met Waylon. I met Jared at school. We were friends, and I just kind of randomly went up to him and I was like, "Yeah, the system is down shit. You play guitar." And that was the beginning of our friendship. And I met the rest of the guys in the band from an ad that was put up by Nick at the music store, and we just kind of took it off from there.
So for me with music, it all started like pretty much when I was like, I'd probably say I was 10 years old. I was hanging out with my buddy. His name was Lance Jocko. He was like, "Hey, check this band out." He showed me like this band that blew my fucking mind. This band called Slayer. I don't know if you guys ever heard Slayer. Slayer. that shit blew my mind, man. Like, the stuff, like, that, I never heard any of that stuff before, man. Like, I ain't afraid to admit it. I was, like, born in the 80s. I like New Kids on the Block. And freaking Cyndi Lauper and shit. And then out of nowhere, I meet this guy, and he shows me this style of music. And then ever since then, metal music was, like, everything to me. I was all about it. It was the shit. Like, and then going to the shows, I was, he also took me to go see Slayer. Like a couple years later, my first show. Oh, I thought I was gonna die. It was a freaking like general admission show. I was on the floor. It was just, I seriously was scared for my life. It was the best day of my life. To see something like that changed my life. That's why I fucking love what I do. Play metal music and just have a good time with my best friends. I love it.
As far as I can remember, music's always been there. I grew up when I was 6, 7 years old. It was like the late 80s. There was crazy 80s pop, hair metal. I remember hearing most of the hair metal on MTV, so it had a pop type of vibe to it. But then I remember my dad having Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power, and 9 Inch Nails, Tool, Sepultura, Slayer, and started getting more into the heavier music then, and then went and saw White Zombie live and saw the stage show, and it was, you could just feel the emotion in the crowd, and you knew that the artist had that too, and it gave just a bigger picture of just jamming out by yourself or watching videos and actually performing and being up there, and I knew that's what I wanted to do, or at least get the opportunity to do that and see how it was. And after that, once I was in high school, I started listening to a lot of more bands that were on Ozfest, System of a Down, Snot, Seven Dust, a lot of heavier stuff too. I'm a fan of all sorts of music, but kind of pushed me at that part of my life to be into the more heavier music. Once we started the band, we were pretty wrapped up into just mainly melody, but a lot of just making really heavy and brutal material. And that's kind of been 15 years ago up until now. That's kind of what we've been doing, and stretching each different thing a certain way.
I got into drumming when I saw Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters. When I saw Tool, I saw Danny Carey, Stinkfist, I was just hooked. And Tool was actually the gateway for me to get into heavier music. I was watching MTV back then when MTV had music videos. And I remember after school watching a really crazy claymation video, and it was Stinkfist from Tool, and I was just captivated by it. The tonality, the mood, the musicality, it was all just very unique, and I really gravitated towards the drumming. So it was Danny Carey was one of my biggest influences, and weirdly enough, The Prodigy. I really loved the programmed drums of The Prodigy, and like Smack My Bitch Up and Breathe were amazing.
It's been there since the womb, really. From my understanding, my mom and my dad would put like freaking headphones on my mom's belly when I was in the womb. And I think that made it something that really already started to click with me. I think it just like subconsciously. Me and my sister are really artistic in the sense, like my sister can act and she acts and dances and all that other crazy stuff. I'm terrible at that. I got more of the music stuff. I can't draw with shit, I can't do anything. Music's like the only thing I'm good at when it comes to the arts. So, you know, it's something that always existed in my life. And as I grew up in a family of Hispanic people, and in the Hispanic community, music is a really big deal. Music is something that ties into everything of our lives. You know, when we're cleaning, when we're cooking, when we're celebrating, there's always music. You know, merengue, salsa is very big. Community music, very party music. And when you go to places like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, you know, people really enjoy making music together. You know, you see like drum circles and stuff like that, and people just all around just dancing and having fun. It's just part of an entertainment. So music has always been in my life. My dad grew up in the 60s and 70s, and so did my mom. and they loved Led Zeppelin and all that other stuff. My dad's a huge blues fan, and he always wanted to be a drummer, and he just never did. I don't know why he didn't. I think he tried playing guitar for like a couple of days or something. My dad gave up. So that was something that just kind of was always present in my life. And ever since I can remember, since I was a kid, I remember being in Puerto Rico, going to first grade in Puerto Rico, and the music teacher asking me what did I wanted to be when I grew up, and I told her I wanted to be a singer.
I like getting into hockey. I'm obsessed with ice hockey. Obviously, Canadian ice hockey all the way. Like Red Wings, best team ever. Sorry every other team out there because we're the Wings, right? Hockey town. But I also get into recently just started playing golf. That's fun. That's a fun sport. Just go out on the greens, man. It's good times, man. But yeah, and then like I got my family. Everything to me. Just got married, beautiful wife. I got my kids. That's what I love to do. I love to be a dad. I love hockey. Play some golf. Play some video games with my friends. Occasionally, go out into town. But music, man. Hell yeah.
Other than music, I like pretty much all sports. I'm a hockey fan too. Being in Detroit, it's easy to be a hockey fan. It's one of their only good, consistent teams. But also, I'm into a lot of tech things, video games. When I was old enough to start playing video games, right when Nintendo came out, and just to see progression through the years, and it's kind of reflective as seeing progression through a band, and even going back to old songs of ours, it's like going back to old games. They're still fun, it's good, but you definitely can appreciate the time period, just creation as anything. So basically into creation, technology, and once the internet hit in the late 90s, it was just like a free-for-all for anybody. So good or bad, everything's out there now, and crazy world.
So tech has always been in my household, and I am 33, so I was around for 28.8 and 14.4 modems and dial-up. And so I was lucky enough to be immersed in tech from a young age, and that kind of led me down a path to lead me to web development. And I've been doing that for about 11 years now, and it started as a hobby and it's turned into a full-fledged career. And I gotta say, I'm super lucky to be able to make my livelihood into something that is actually a hobby. I count my blessings every day. It's a wonderful career, wonderful job and industry.
Other than being in a band, obviously, and loving that, I love a bunch of stuff, but I'm really passionate about martial arts. I'm a real big fanatic of jiu-jitsu and judo. I've been doing judo since I was 9 years old. I'm the first degree black belt at MSU Judo Club here in Lansing, Michigan. I teach the judo club, and I also TA the MSU class. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for just as long as judo, but not in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu way. Doing the judo way, so like newaza, being on the knees and fighting the groundwork. I just in the last year picked up jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and it's fucking changed my life. I love it to death. It's something that, it's therapy for me, man. Like being in a band is therapy, and I love being in the band. There's so many frustrating things about being in a band right now, especially in this day and age with YouTube and Facebook and all this sort of fucking shit with your phones and everything. We're all fucking plugged in all the time. So martial arts to me and judo to me is an escape from that frustration of why people can't still relate the way that we used to with music. It's changed, and martial arts is that therapy. Whenever I can't get out what I need to get out because we're not always on tour, I wish we were, but we're not always on tour, I go to martial arts, and that's my therapy. I love teaching people. I love explaining things that can hopefully make sense and help somebody else find their inner, peace. And to me, that's what martial arts is. Martial arts is really an inner peace. It's not about like being able to kick anyone's ass or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes if I'm hanging out, I'm like, man, I hope this fucking guy says something I want to try. But I mean, it's not about that. it's really about self-discipline and learning what your limits are and what you're capable of. And that's what I love about martial arts, and it ties in to music, because when you get out on the mat and you're fighting someone, you're doing a tournament, or you're rolling with somebody, you're trying to choke them out or pin them, you know, or throw them or whatever, there's a thrill there, there's a challenge, and you have to meet that challenge. And if you lose, it's okay. Losing is okay. I'm okay with being a loser in those situations. You know, you're supposed to fail to get back up and learn how to be better. You know, there's something that I apply to my life that we say in judo is, if it was easy, everybody would be a black belt. You know, and being a black belt in martial arts doesn't mean I can fucking kick your ass or whatever. It just means I didn't quit something that was really, really hard, and I'm still not gonna quit.
So I live for many things in my life, but music, playing music with my best friends is definitely one of the priorities. Right there, like equally next to my family. I love playing music. I couldn't see me doing anything else. If I wasn't doing this, what I'm doing right now with my friends, I wouldn't be myself anymore. I wouldn't be Waylon Fox anymore. Because playing music is the best. Like, once I get on that stage and just start jamming, it's like nothing else matters besides that moment in time, and then just playing some metal and looking out in the crowd and all those people having a good time, and then just partying it up, man, just throwing down in the pit. That's one of the main things I need to see in my life every day, because I love it.
Well, music's something that I live for, because it's either an escape or it's really anything you want it to be. If you need to get away from something, you can always have music. If you want to bring a party together, you can have music, and just being able to create the music and then record it and then have that used in different areas all around the world, playing shows, even if it's 5 people to 500,000. It doesn't matter when you see somebody that connects with something that you've composed, and basically you can tell that they get the same feeling that you've got off it, that no matter what's going on in their life, they're there, and it's helping them and making them feel good.
Music is what I live for. I live to be on stage. I live to be performing with these guys. I've performed with a lot of musicians in my career, but I've always had a really strong connection with these guys. They are my brothers. They were there for me during really dark times in my life, and that bond is something that is so special and rare, and that's really all connected to the whole experience. Being on stage, playing music, it is my bliss. I love it more than anything in the world, and it is what I live for.
Music is what I live for. It is my life's blood. I mean, being in this band is what I live for. There's nothing that I would rather be doing with my life than playing music. I have a job. I work a 9 to 5. My job is super awesome. I love all my coworkers. I work for a great company. They take care of me, you know. But this is something that defines me. Music is what I live for. Being in Heartsick is what I live for. You know, I don't want to be in any other band. I want to be in this band. I want this band to make somebody's life different, to change it for the better, because that's what music did for me. And it's what I live for, man. Getting in that band, hanging out with these dudes, and making jokes and being stupid. Nothing makes me feel better than that. So.
What's up? We're Portal 11.
We're Panacea.
We're explicit.
And this is the art of hip. Alright. What's up, everybody? We're Heartsick. I'm Alfonso.
I'm Nico. I'm Jared. And I'm Waylon.